Hi, my name's James Linehart. I am the founder and CEO of Levitex Foams. I have an existing business called Posture Care, and we work with complex neurological conditions, so patients that suffer with MS, cerebral palsy, people who've had catastrophic brain injuries, and for a long time we've been working to manage their postures, which of course are really complex in the NHS and local authority. And we realised really quickly that posture was actually the black sheep cousin that no one really talked about. So in healthcare you have pressure sores, which everybody knows about, and it's very clear that it's a big problem in the NHS. And within local authority, the big problem is moving and handling. So that's the moving and handling of these complex patients. What no one really cared about was their posture. And actually, if you flip the thing on its head, posture is the single most important thing of the three. So by managing your posture, your body weight distribution on a bed's more even, you're less susceptible to pressure sores, your body shape is preserved. If we dilute that to able-bodied people, all the way up to elite sports, the science is really the same, but how much focus is spent on posture in bed, and our experience is very, very little. Awesome. So thank you for seeing us. I guess the people that we're working with in our office will not know who you are. And if they don't, they should. So if you'd like to tell us what's your name, where do you come from, what you do, please, sir?
So I'm Johnny Booth, and I'm originally from Huddersfield, but I now live in Manchester, and I swim for British Paraswimming.
Amazing. Okay. So what we're going to do today is a just quick sleep consultation to better understand your sleep environment. What we're here to talk about really is the very physical element of sleep. So your sleep posture, your resting spine versus sort of psychological stuff. For example, you've had a day in the pool today, your coach tells you off, you ruminate that all day, it's wound you up, or you didn't win your race. My pillow will never help with those sorts of issues, right? And so to offer you a perfect night's sleep would be a little bit disingenuous, I think. However, we know that you guys that are going to Tokyo are currently sleeping on, I believe you're sleeping on paper beds, as far as I'm aware. Are you aware of this?
God. I know we went to our training camp. We've been to like Suzuka, where we're going to be doing our holding camp before we go to the actual games. And the beds there were quite old-fashioned, we shall say. Like the covers were, I won't be surprised if they were for people about 30 years ago now. Like they were pretty old-fashioned things.
Okay, and let me ask you: have you ever? Is sleep something that you take? Is there any work done on your sleep in terms of at the swimming?
No, the part obviously they've given us. We had the what are they called, like Lumi lamps or something like that. I don't know what they're called. Okay. They just like light up basically to try and wake you up, like get you awake for
understood
on a morning. But other than that, that's about it. And Terry active before bed.
Okay, and presumably, if I asked you what your macros were, you'd know the answer to that question.
Not a chance.
Really? Okay, fine. Well, I'll ignore that point then. I assumed that you would. So in terms of your physical conditioning, there must be a program, right?
Yeah. So our gym coach, yeah.
Fine. Okay. So what we're here to do is try and enhance whatever you're doing in the pool, because fundamentally you sleep for far longer than you'll ever be in a pool. You try to get to sleep for far longer than you'll ever be in a pool. And so if we can make some impactful change in terms of your sleep quality, then who knows, there might be that marginal gain for you. Okay. So what discipline, what race what's your thing?
400 meter freestyle, so one of the distance events at the meet.
Okay, fine. And if you don't mind me asking your age?
22.
And your height?
I literally, unfortunately, I have to say, technically 5'11". I'm 0.1 centimetre off 6 foot. It's heartbreaking.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm 6'2". I'd give you my. I'd share it. I swear I'd share it. What do you weigh?
Pardon? 69 kilograms.
Okay. And you currently sleep on what bed?
A double.
Do you know what it's made from?
Oh no, I could not tell you.
Exactly right. Right. So you're an elite athlete. You go into the Olympics, and you're the same, by the way, as every single Olympian that we've ever met. And you have no clue what you sleep on, and that's really standard with every athlete. And frankly, anyone that we've ever met, sort of globally, whether that's in a corporate or whether that's just a normal like myself, nobody really thinks about what they sleep on or the position in which they lie and the impact that that's going to have on their resting spine. And I guess what we're here to say is that if you have a neutral resting spine, there is a linear relationship between having that and the speed in which you recover. And of course, your spine is the thing that gets you moving in the pool, right? So let me ask you, if I just pull up a range of positions, 1 second. Okay. If you look at this, which sleep position would you say is you?
So I used to sleep pretty similar to, oh my God, the Dreamer, I'd say, was probably my what I used to sleep like. But I injured my knee.
Okay.
And I couldn't sleep on my side anymore, so I basically have to do the soldier, but with a pillow under my knee.
Which knee is it?
My right.
And did you used to sleep on your right side or your left side?
My left side.
And when you slept on your left side, was it the knees rubbing together was the problem?
No, so I put a pillow. I don't know. We don't know what it is because I've spoken to my physio about it and the doctor. They don't know what it is. But like my knees, pretty like I'm able to swim again. Like I wasn't able to walk on it, but laying on my side to sleep, my knee just gets really like sore and like uncomfortable. I can't sleep like that. Even with a pillow in between, like the pain doesn't change. So I've had to resort to sleeping on my back.
And what about what mattress do you currently sleep on? Do you know what it is? Is it foam? Is it spring? Is it firm? Is it soft?
I'd say spring if it was anything. It's not. It's definitely not memory foam. I know that.
Okay. And soft or is it?
Yeah. It's quite soft. I wouldn't say it's like.
But
I'd say the bed, the spare room bed's softer. We'll say that.
Okay, fine. All right, fair enough. Okay, and your knee, fine. Has the impact of changing your lying position affected the quality of your sleep? Do you feel better or worse for it, or no different?
Obviously, when I used to sleep on my side, like I obviously found it. I used to get to sleep a lot faster.
Yeah.
But even like lying on my back now, like because it happened in like October, I've kind of got used to it, so it's not taking me as long anymore.
So you recognise that you can change sleep position, and it doesn't necessarily need to impact your getting to sleep. You're somebody who's experienced a need to change sleep position, and still you're able to go to sleep. So we can accept that that isn't a reason not to fall asleep. Okay, agreed?
No. Yeah.
Funnily enough, the sad reality is, if I'm honest, I would have wanted you to be the Dreamer.
I originally slept.
Perfect. It's perfect. And even like you put a pillow between your knees and ankles, from my perspective, that keeps your hips, knees and ankles in a nice straight symmetrical line. From your perspective, I was hoping that you didn't do that. And actually the issue was very much that you had your knees rubbing together. I wonder what pillow did you use when you used to do it?
My neck pillow.
Is it memory foam?
No, it's just a normal everyday one.
Does it compress? Does it compress? I suspect it's not particularly bouncy.
No.
Okay. I wonder whether your problem was that the thing about fiber-filled product is, as much as it can be comfortable for a period of time, it compacts, number one, and it moves.
Yeah.
So loads of people that we work with who have neck problems basically lie on the side like a dreamer, and all I'm trying to do is fill in this space, right? If I can fill in that space, then your head's not going to drop, and if it's not too big, your head won't go that way. So I'm keeping your cervical spine, your neck, nice and neutral, and your spine all nice and neutral, yeah? We're going back to that resting spine. And you recognise that it was the optimum position for sleeping because you've done it your whole life until a year ago. So I'm fully with you, and I'd really like to try and get you back to it. Before we address your knee, because that's a slightly awkward anomaly, really, let's just go back to your head and your pillow. What do you currently sleep on pillow-wise? That thing?
Just, oh God, I like literally not. I sleep on two pillows, but they're quite like the really thin ones.
Right.
So like I'm not like my neck's not like you were saying before. It's not up. It's quite. It is up a little, but it's not like
Okay,
mild. Like.
but you recognise that if it's fibre, it's going to move through the night. So your head has to move through the night. Agreed?
Yeah.
During the day, your neck's holding your head and your shoulders and your traps are holding your neck. So your neck is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're lying on something like fibre, because it's moving all the time. So you have to, if your body's moving, then your muscle fibers have to tell your muscles to be ready to be active, to get cracking. You're about to turn and move. It doesn't happen on its own, right? So the idea is if I can fill this space in and you can switch off and your muscles can go, okay, here's where I am in space. I'm safe and secure. Good night. Then the only thing I really need to deal with above and beyond getting that space filled is that it's soft enough that it doesn't hurt your ear and it's not uncomfortable, but it's firm enough that through the night you don't sink. So you'll know this from your swimming, that there is a whole important play in and around what we almost call the seventh sense, which is proprioception. Our body's understanding of where we are in space, right? That's something that I can only imagine is important to you as a swimmer. If you take that and put that into a lying situation, if you aren't safe and secure in your environment, your muscle fibers have to be switched on. Your muscles have to be ready to move. And so if you're lying on anything that moves, you are that proprioception play is just not there. You are in the middle of midair. You are sleeping on top of a tree in the wind. So if I can fill this space in and solve pressure, so it's soft enough, posture, so it's firm enough, and proprioception, so you sink in just the right amount that you say, okay, here's where I am in space. I can switch off. It's time for bed. Then ideally, if you could spend longer in that position, you would spend longer with a neutral resting spine. And then that linear relationship that I told you before, which is evidenced by people far more intelligent than me, would occur, right? You lie straight, your back, your spine recovers quicker. You lie like that on your stomach and it takes longer to recover. It just makes logical sense. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I wonder whether the proprioceptive feedback that you're going to get from the foam will actually also help impact, you know, what's going on with your knees and ankles, because it sounds neural. It sounds like, it doesn't sound like it's not a muscular problem, is it? If you're swimming normal, then something else is going on there. It's a pain, it's an isolated pain issue rather than a musculoskeletal physical body shape issue. Okay, so if you're 5'11" and 69 kilo, you're quite thin, aren't you? You don't look like you're massively broad-shouldered.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to send you a size 12, which is classed as a medium loft. Okay, and these three things could happen. If the pillow's too big, you're going to hate it. It's going to feel like sleeping on a step like this, right? If the pillow's too small and your head has to get to it, then the weight of your head will drive through your shoulder and you'll get pain in your shoulder because that weight is being driven through gravity. If the pillow is bang on the right size, it's going to be a really alien feel. You're going to feel like you want to push your head into the bed and you can't. Bear with, I promise you I've cracked it, and just give us a couple of nights. But I'm going to send you also a thin pillow just to put between your knees and ankles, because I think if you have the right sort of support, you might get a resistance to what's been going on previously. And frankly, if we can get you back into that position, it can only be a good thing. Well, you know that, right? You're already doing it. Okay, so Georgina will take your address, your details. We'll send the product out. Let's chat again in a week and see how you're getting on. I think from our side, we're not offering you a magic sleeping tablet. It doesn't exist. I'm really sorry to tell you. But however long you do sleep for, your quality can be improved by your sleeping position. And that's all we're here to accommodate. We're not rocket scientists. We've got nothing magical to tell you. It's just that you've spent your life, what did you say you are, 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 years of your life sleeping on product that you've never addressed, never considered, never thought about. And mate, with the greatest respect to you, I'm never going to the Olympics and going for. I don't know what your aspiration is in terms of, where you're at. What's the goal? I mean, what's the dream?
Well, I was at the last Paralympics in Rio, and I made the final. So obviously, the dream would be to medal. That'd be my aim.
Right. Well, okay. We're going to look for marginal gain. All I can tell you is this: we work with a company called Dreams. Dreams did an infographic, and the infographic spoke like this, and I just think it's so poignant. 79 years the average person lives. They work for 13 and a half. They eat for 4.5. They exercise for a year. They romance for a year. They socialize for a year. You barely go to school for a full year of your life, but you sleep for 26, and you try to get to sleep for a further 7 years of your life. So more than eating and exercising and going out with people, all put together, is the amount of time you spend in bed tossing and turning and trying to figure it all out. So we'll get you fixed up. Let's chat again. It was really, really nice to meet you near the pool. Yeah, you know, these things don't tend to happen by accident. So thanks so much for that, and stay in touch.
Yeah, we'll do. Obviously, we've got trials coming up next week, so I'm not going to be in. Well, I'm in till, when is it? That maybe Tuesday.
Okay, so what I suggest is you keep going as you are for your trials, because let's not make any new variables a week before trials, right? I'm not taking any responsibility unless you get a gold, and then it's all thanks to Levitex. Okay, so we'll send it out to you. Will be somebody able to get it to you? Yeah, if we get it to you, there'll be someone to pick it up.
Do you know when it would be? Obviously, it depends. I live alone, so
Thursday. But I can wait. If you want me to wait till you get back, just Insta George, and we'll send it once you're back.
Yeah, it would. I'm leaving next Tuesday, so
Leave it. When are you back?
It'll probably be on the Sunday.
Okay, all right. Send George a message when you're back. Best of luck with it. I'm sure you'll be right. And on the other side, we'll fix you up.
Perfect. I will do.
All right, bud. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you too, and thanks for the time this evening.
My pleasure. Take care. See you.
Perfect. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us, James, and thanks for sharing that sleep consultation with Johnny Booth as well. It was really interesting. Do you want to kick off by giving us a little bit of information about you and your background?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's James Linehart. I'm the CEO of Levitex and another company called Posture Care, which you may know. And Posture Care is really where it all began. We developed a sleep system to manage posture for patients with complex neurological conditions, with 2 neurophysios. And on the back of that work, we decided to develop a foam formulation because we saw that there was a need in the market for lying surface, sleep surface, supporting pressure relieving surfaces that did a little bit more than just pressure relieved. And so we've developed the Levitex foam formulation. We've had it independently clinically researched at Salford University and also UCLan, where we continue to do further studies. And our aspiration is to scream and shout about sleep posture to the world, because correcting it will improve the quality of your life. So if you've got a spine in your sleep, we'd like to talk to you.
Excellent. So expanding on what you said there about sleep posture, you showed us a diagram during the sleep consultation of different positions. Are any of those correct or incorrect, or is it just down to what feels comfortable for you?
No, for sure. There's definitely anybody who's spending any period of time lying on their stomach is invariably pulling their head all the way left or all the way right. I'm 75 kilos in weight, so if we imagine you turn your spine, stick 75 bags of sugar on top, and then see you in the morning and wonder why everything's a little bit more creaky. So absolutely, the things that will impact a neutral resting spine and sleep posture will be gravity, obviously, your body mass, and the position that you're in and whatever's underneath you. So if you're bringing yourself to the bed versus the bed coming up to you, then gravity is going to be pulling you into a position that's not necessarily neutral.
That makes sense. So talking about the Levitex foam pillow, what's the difference between that pillow and a normal memory foam pillow you can get anywhere else?
Okay, thanks. So Levitex actually isn't. So Levitex is a polyurethane foam, but it's not memory foam. Memory foam is designed essentially to pressure relieve. So, excuse me. The idea of it, the process is that it absorbs body heat. So you put your head on it or your body, it absorbs your body heat and it molds the shape of your body. Okay, that in memory foam, it's remembering. Well, the reality is, if the majority of us have been working from office tables, like this, as I do, or kitchen tables, sofas, whatever it's been this last 12 months, actually, do we want our beds to remember the naughty things we've done all day? I suspect not. If you're somebody who spends time in a car, or if you're anyone who, other than somebody who is able to perfectly address their daytime posture without forgetting, because this is my, posture sort of follows the least line of resistance, right? So this is my sweet spot. My arms in front of me and my shoulders arching over.
So the very last thing I would want to do is to be reminded of what I've done during the day. I actually want to reverse or fight against it. And of course, if you manage just pressure and you're sinking into something, then of course you will negate posture. So you're solving one problem and creating a new one.
Okay, that's really interesting. And the next question. So if somebody wanted to go for the Levitex pillow, do they need to have a sleep consultation like we just saw with Johnny, or is it a case that anyone can pick it up?
No, we offer them just because we love to make sure people have the right products. So we will always offer them. If someone wants to speak to us, we'll always speak. We put on a form on the website, so there's an automated form that says, you know, this is my position, this is my height, my weight. I don't think it says weight, it might say it's about frame size, and it spits out the size that's appropriate for you. And then equally, you know, it's a very different product. It's something you've never felt before. So if the feeling is that you're sleeping on a step, then you've got the wrong size, it's too big, and we'll switch it. If you're feeling like you've got shoulder pressure, then your head will drop into a pillow that's too small and push into the shoulder. If the pillow's just right, what I'm trying to do is fill in the hole between your earlobe and scapula. And so long as the position is right, so long as I'm lying in the semi-fetal sideline position, then I will get you the right size. But if you're somebody who, for example, is an applauder or a heavy lifter, as you saw in those pictures, then all of a sudden you rotate at shoulder. So then the distance is now earlobe to mattress, not earlobe to scapula. So positioning, height of the pillow, because we're trying to lift the head off the bed, provide enough pressure relief that it's not uncomfortable in your ear, but not too much pressure relief that you're sinking through the night, because invariably, if your head moves, your neck has to be engaged, your shoulders, your traps are all working, and through a 24/7 cycle, one never gets to switch off when it comes to, you know, what we call a neutral resting spine. So the idea being that you fall asleep in the correct position, the muscles around gets to switch off, and you rehabilitate. Sleep is not just a time to go to bed because you're tired. Sleep is a time to treat. You do more sleeping than anything else in your life, but yet we just, you know, like I say, we spend all this time doing daytime postural work, and then we go and plonk in any old bed. And I suspect anyone who's on this call doesn't know the position they sleep in properly, and doesn't know the pillow that they sleep on. And certainly, if they've bought a pillow from a Dunelm because it was posh, or a Tesco because it was cheap, in the same way that if you wanted to buy a pair of cheap shoes, I couldn't wear them, or if you wanted to buy an expensive pair of shoes, I couldn't wear them, because I'm 11, and I guess you're not an 11.
No, not quite.
So, you know, it's none of the stuff that we do is particularly earth-shattering. It's just some sensible common sense. You know, we need different sizes. We need to adjust our position. We need to be comfortable in bed. It's widely promised that people offer a perfect night's sleep. I'm afraid it doesn't exist, Kat.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. There's too many factors in that. So if somebody's got the correct size pillow, will they know immediately, or does it take still a little bit of adjustment to get used to it?
It depends on the person, and it depends on what they've been doing previously. So, for example, if you are someone who's spent your life sleeping on your stomach, yes, it takes a little bit longer, because if you spend so much time and normally you go to one side versus another, then the muscles around here are extending and stretching, and the muscles around here don't. So you will always be able to turn further left than you can right. And then you're going to lie on your left side. This is going to be tense. This is going to be short. That will take some time. Some people fall in love with it straight away. The feeling should be that you almost want to push your head into the bed, and you can't. If it feels like you've been blocked off, that's the sweet spot. That's perfect. We're delighted.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So we've already covered this a little bit, but we've got the question, what size pillow should I get? Is the best thing to do for someone to go over to your website and fill in that form too?
It's levitex.co.uk, but if they want further advice, if they want to speak to me, if they just get in touch with inquiries or one of our posture experts, then we'll come back to them. No two people sleep in the same way, no two patients present in the same way. So every person that we meet will educate us on how to improve our product. So we're more than happy to meet people.
Absolutely. I think that's all the questions we've got at the moment. So if there's not anything else you wanted to bring up or mention to us, then I think that's everything. Everyone watching,
I'm going to give you two takeaways, seeing people are here, and then I'm going to bust a move. Takeaway one: when you have found the right size pillow, make sure you take it with you wherever you go. And takeaway two: I don't know if you noticed, we talk a lot about putting pillows between knees and ankles, and the idea being that rather than just knees, which would present like that with feet touching, to have pillows between knees and ankles will allow you to have neutral hips, knees, ankles, no rubbing together, and also and it will discourage that rotation over. Nearly everyone who thinks they lie on the side actually has one knee going over the bed and has rotation at hips.
I think that's me actually. Okay, interesting, great. So everybody that's watching this perhaps on catch up as well, because this will be available for 30 days post event, head on over to the Levitex website. It is linked within the show guide, and also within the conference room itself you can click on the Levitex logo and be taken through, and get in touch with James and his team and get your posture sorted out. Okay, thanks very much, James. It was brilliant to have you. Thank you.
Yeah, see you.